Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. I'm Sandy Williams. Special welcome if you're watching on onespotmedia.com and on TVJ International in the Cayman Islands. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Reggae icon Jimmy Cliff dies, Jamaica and the world in mourning. Health Ministry races to contain Leptospirosis spike after hurricane. And later in sports, Khadijah Shaw returns as Reggae Girls squad announced ahead of World Cup qualifiers. And now the details. We begin this afternoon with news on the passing of a global reggae icon. Jamaica and the wider music world are in mourning following the death of Jimmy Cliff, the legendary singer, songwriter and actor whose work helped to shape the island's cultural identity. Aaliyah Bryant has that report.
I can see clearly now, the rain is gone.
James Chambers, popularly known as Jimmy Cliff, died at approximately 1 a.m. this morning, aged 81. In a statement published on social media today by his wife, she says the singer and film pioneer passed away after suffering a seizure followed by pneumonia.
You can get it if you really want.
Cliff, known for hits like You Can Get It If You Really Want and I Can See Clearly Now, was also celebrated for his lead role in the Jamaican film The Harder They Come. Reacting to his passing, reggae expert Dr. Dennis Howard says Cliff helped make Jamaica a household name across the world.
Jimmy's contribution is not to be, sneezed on. It is significant. Starting with ska music, going to the world sphere back in the 1960s, and penetrating markets like Brazil with reggae music.
Clyde Mackenzie remembers him as a seminal figure in modern Jamaican music.
Cliff is somebody who has done a monumental job in terms of the spreading of our music and culture, and we owe him a debt of gratitude. In 1964, he was part of that contingent that was sent to Flushing Meadows in New York to promote Jamaican music, and he did a remarkable job in the process. Subsequently, the release of The Harder They Come was another big fillip to the spread of reggae in the United States. In fact, the 2000 December edition of Entertainment Weekly had the release of The Harder They Come in the United States among the 100 greatest moments in rock.
Many rivers to cross.
The government of Jamaica has also joined those mourning the passing of the reggae icon.
We are deeply saddened at his passing. Jimmy Cliff is no doubt a pioneer of music and must also be appropriately hailed as a legend of our time.
One of Montego Bay's most popular corridors, the Jimmy Cliff Boulevard, is also named in his honor. Jimmy Cliff's outstanding contribution to Jamaica and the world was also specially recognized during the Jamaica 55 celebrations.
Rest in eternal peace, Jimmy. Your physical work on earth is done, but your music, your legacy, will live on for many generations to come. Our grateful nation says thank you to your family for sharing you with us and the world.
Aaliyah Bryant, TVJ News.
A legend indeed. Jimmy will be truly missed. Health officials are moving with urgency as Jamaica confronts an outbreak of leptospirosis in the aftermath of Hurricane Melissa. 6 people have already died from the disease, but the health minister insists the situation is containable if the public acts swiftly. In the wake of Hurricane Melissa's devastation, flooded communities, overflowing drains and rodent-infested debris have triggered a threat. Silent but deadly, leptospirosis. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton says his ministry is confident the outbreak can be brought under control in short order.
Firstly, the hospital system is very prepared to deal with both testing and treatment. This is a bacteria that can be treated with early notification. Antibiotics does that. We are fully equipped. Secondly, though, the prevention side, we have deployed a number of both health workers in communities that have been flooded out and where stagnant water and contaminated water, which is the main carrier coming from the rodents or dead carcasses, where that poses a risk, our team are out in the field in those communities.
He says teams have been deployed to conduct water treatment in affected communities to ensure residents have access to safe drinking water. Public health workers are also sensitizing residents about proper food storage and the importance of wearing protective gear during cleanup activities. The ministry confirmed the outbreak last week after the bacteria-driven disease claimed 6 lives. Since then, 9 cases have been confirmed and more than 20 suspected or probable infections are being monitored closely. Leptospirosis spreads mainly through water contaminated with animal urine, especially from rodents. Public health teams say many communities, particularly in rural parishes, remain vulnerable as residents continue to wade through stagnant water, clean up debris and salvage what they can from damaged homes. If left unchecked, doctors warn the disease can escalate quickly. Initial symptoms mimic the flu, fever, muscle pain and vomiting, but severe cases can lead to kidney failure, liver damage, internal bleeding or even death. That's why the Health Ministry has activated what Dr. Tufton describes as a multi-agency response.
We're working with national agencies around cleanup, the National Solid Waste Agency, which is responsible for moving solid waste. A lot of that is taking place in the targeted communities. And we're working with the Ministry of Labour and Welfare in terms of support to citizens who have lost personal possessions and who are in the process right now of cleaning up. So it's a multi-agency, multi-ministry approach.
Dr. Tufton is urging Jamaicans to seek medical help at the first sign of illness. Vendors operating near the intersection of Pigeon Street and Spanish Town Road in the Rose Lane area are calling for urgent action as blocked drains and sewage overflow continue to affect their businesses. However, the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation is urging vendors to stop contributing to the problem, noting that some of the blockages are caused by waste being improperly disposed in the drains. Shimela Pullen reports.
According to vendors, dirty water has been flowing on the roadway for weeks. They say this is driving customers away and creating a health hazard.
The place stinks and it's really, really bad. So, days, weeks, we have our product, our fish, and we can't sell. But we can do better because going inside of the market, it doesn't make any sense because the same water come up in the drain. So it wants a proper drain, cleaning, and a better sewage area.
They believe the wastewater is coming from nearby commercial properties and flowing directly into the already clogged drains.
Sometimes the water is very, very red, like the water coming from the dead house, the baby dead and all of that.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, because the different chemicals, the fabulous smell, fabulous smell, bleach, smell Dettol, and you can see the water is different.
How different?
It's red, just red.
Red as in what? Blood looking red?
Blood looking red, but it's not blood. It's a chemical that they use. And it's even coming from the hospital too.
However, the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation says it is already in the process of carrying out extensive cleaning of the drains in the area. On the weekend, they were seen in the area with their heavy equipment trying to resolve the issue.
So what we find coming out of these drains are currently in the location that we're at, we see remnants of the fish vendors, their waste. And also we see bottle, a lot of sand and vegetation coming from the market district. So as a result of the stormwater drain is being blocked, the water just run on the roadway and to find anywhere that it can settle and then continues to the lowest point that gravity allows.
Shimela Pullen, TVJ News.
The Host School initiative is bearing fruit in St. Anne, with Ferncourt High so far opening its doors to students from at least 4 other schools. The details in this report.
Students dressed in different clothes and colors at the Ferncourt High School, and it's not Sports Day nor Jeans Day, it's Teaching and Learning Post Melissa. The school's leadership has taken its vision statement literally to involve all stakeholders, and involving all stakeholders in this instance means they have taken in students from St. Hilda's, Marcus Garvey Technical, Westwood and York Castle High schools, which explains the different colors and clothes among the student body.
We understand that there might have been some challenges in moving forward, so we are able to accommodate them as long as they are willing to come and facilitate them so that they too can continue their learning as well.
Principal Sheldon Thomas also explained that prior to restarting school, they took into consideration the social and mental well-being of all staff and students.
So we started on Monday with a psychosocial session with the staff where they were able to interact and so forth, and we share ideas how we can move forward in interacting with our senior students. Then on the Tuesday now we started with all the upper school students. Not much at first, but as the days go by we saw an increase in number of students attending school.
Ferncourt High School also had damage to its own campus, but compared to the other schools in the parish, it was minor.
We raise chicken, so we'd have lost some of the chicks as well, and damages also sustained in terms of the roofing of these areas.
Well over 75% of the student population from Ferncourt High School has resumed physical classes at the institution.
When I did some checks, I also realized that there are some students are still having some challenges in coming out. So that is the reason why one of the focus now is to find them and see what support we can give at the school, because we want them back at Ferncourt High School.
Aliyah Bryant, TVJ News.
Questions are emerging about where people will rebuild, especially when many were living on government-owned land. The issue is particularly worrying among many hurricane victims in parts of Westmoreland. Antonia Atkinson has the details.
Speaking on the morning agenda on Poro 106, public affairs commentator Garth Rattray accused the government of a lack of urgency in assisting affected persons. The comment comes amid concerns that displaced families are already re-establishing themselves in the same vulnerable locations, including some squatter settlements.
About a third of Jamaicans are actually squatters, and of that amount of squatters, about 3/4 are squatting government property. So it can be regulated. It has to be regulated, because what I saw happening, I mean, it's a category 5. What's a category 5? We know it can destroy anything. But things were taking off like kites in the wind. Things are put up and allowed. And and I'm talking about, what really gets to me? Sometimes whenever something happens, like a catastrophe, a building collapses, somebody dies, you see the authorities in the papers looking on and saying, oh, they should not have. No, that is their responsibility.
He also raised concerns about the possible impact of relocating residents to other parishes, warning that such move could create complications for voter registration and participation.
There was a time when it was thought that people were allowed to squat in certain areas and they could vote in that community. They have an upscale community, they're allowed to squat near to it, so that when it comes time to vote, the party will have people who vote for them. But the fact of the matter is that they can work it out. I mean, they're the government. They can put wherever they want to put. I mean, they should know if you put their people there or there, it's in their benefit or not.
Mr. Rattray further stressed the need for every community to have a designated emergency shelter to ensure better preparedness for disasters.
We need good community centers. I mean, the countries where you have community centers. So not only is it a shelter, but they have activities there. Children come out of school. People volunteer classes, feeding programs, daycare. So it will be used for other things besides school. Well, you know what I mean? The school, I want for schools are shelters. I don't agree, sorry to say, with just saying, okay, we must take the schools away. No. I think we need community centers, and they will bring people together also under one roof. These things are important.
As thousands wait for assistance and clarity on their next steps, the call is growing louder for a coordinated and urgent response to prevent long-term instability for affected families. Antonia Atkinson, TVJ News.
It's now time for a break, but stay with us. We'll have more local stories when we return. Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. The St. Anne Police Division launched a major operation this morning targeting several areas including Quarry Town. 3 firearms were recovered, and 10 persons have been detained.
We descended on Quarry Town, conducted searches of some target locations, and during the process, 3 firearms were recovered. We have detained a number of persons and we are continuing with the effort. It is in a bid to restore normalcy to the St. Anne Division, as also to start registering reduction in major crimes. At this point in time, we have approximately 10 persons that were picked up in relation, but during the investigation process, the necessary charges will be laid against individuals.
It's now time for the Business Minute.
The directors of Caribbean Flavors and Fragrances are reporting a 146% increase in net profits after tax to $38.2 million on a 36% spike in revenues to $264.5 million during the quarter which ended on September 30. This when compared with the same period of the previous year. Achieved despite a 30.1% jump in its finance cost to $4.3 million this year. The company also recorded net profits of $120.2 million on revenues of $793.7 million during the 9-month period which ended on September 30. These figures represented massive increases when compared with the net profits after tax of $68.4 million recorded on revenues of $642.2 million during the 9-month period of the previous year. Chinese tourists are canceling flights and Japanese hotels are seeing last-minute withdrawals after Beijing warned its citizens against traveling to Japan. The move follows comments by Japan's Prime Minister suggesting a Chinese attack on Taiwan could prompt a Japanese military response. China is Japan's largest tourism market. Nearly 7.5 million Chinese visitors traveled there in the first 9 months of the year, spending 1.6 trillion yen. If travelers redirect their plans, Japan's tourism industry could face a significant blow. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Prince Moore.
And now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, the Belize government has launched its first global digital services investment policy. The policy, developed with support from the IDB and Spanish consultants, aims to transform Belize's BPO sector into a higher-tier global digital services industry. The plan outlines 6 pillars, including modernized incentives, legal reforms, creative workforce development, and a stronger digital infrastructure. And on the international scene, US and Ukrainian officials say they're making substantial progress in ceasefire talks after meeting in Geneva, Switzerland. Negotiators are working from Donald Trump's 28-point ceasefire plan originally rooted in US-Russia talks. Some critics said it favored Russia, but Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the US and Ukraine have modified it and that remaining issues are not insurmountable. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky echoes that optimism. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Aaliyah Bryant.
We head to a quick break, but when we come back, we'll have your midday sports report.